Hello, everyone. My name is Misty Gaither, and welcome to Quest, a journey into true crime and the paranormal. I am so excited to have my guest with me tonight. They are the ghost hunting housewives, so I'm excited to talk to them and find out about their zany, crazy adventures. And I mean, they even make their own paranormal equipment. How you doing, everybody?
Thanks for having us.
Now, y'all started in 2020. Now, was that because of like the pandemic that y'all kind of started, or was this already something pre-planned?
We had been investigating together already by that time, about 18 and a half years. We decided to create Ghost Hunting Housewives in 2020 during the pandemic. It was a lot harder for us to get to places, and we wanted to be able to have more live options for people to see what we were doing and be able to put a name with what we had worked so hard for the last 18 years.
Speaking of the name, Ghost Hunting Housewives, is that kind of like the a play on like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or Atlanta, or I don't know, Cut Off? I don't know.
Well,
Well,
you know, um, we were both single moms at one time, and then we were both working moms and married and still working. Then we have now had the opportunity to be at home and be able to work out of the house, taking care of kids and husbands and, housework. And amongst all of that, we are still the ghost hunting housewives. So when we're not doing all of our daily tasks of having fun with the kids and the grandkids and the housework, we're looking into the paranormal and doing our research.
now, I mentioned in the opening that y'all make your own equipment, which I did not realize that too much, I don't think, until we were on the Fairbanks house investigation, and you're sitting there and you're like, "Oh, I made this," and I'm like, "What the hell?" Because I was impressed because, I don't do those things. Catherine May could whip something up, but not me. So, who is the engineer, and do y'all both make the equipment?
I make
What?
the equipment, but I have put Crystal to work these days.
Okay.
I ain't that good. I ain't that good.
She puts together the lights for me because
Okay.
there's a lot of different steps we have to do, and so she puts together the lights and a few other things to help the process speed along because I'm not young in one person, so
So I noticed that y'all retired like one of your like the REM pods that y'all had made, and that y'all are making a new version that's coming out.
We did. We actually I don't have my new version. This is the one we used at the Fairbanks house. Carol might have the new version,
oh,
but
actually, yeah, this is
um we
um,
started
Oh,
out, actually this will be the second time we've retired a REM pod. We started out with a ghost. That was our very first
I
piece,
have
was
that.
actually a white ghost. That was our very first one. Gosh, what, 3 years ago now? 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Something like that. And then we went to the boxes that are seen often. We're retiring those. I think we actually retired those already, right, Carol?
Yeah, they are. And then this is the new one, has our logo. And these actually have a removable antenna.
look at that.
And they
Fancy.
have a LED rocker switch on them now. And there's
Hmm.
no battery in this one, but it's got a little red light on it. So you know when it's on. And we still have the battery compartment. And they're 3D printed now.
Oh,
The other
okay.
ones were very time consuming because they were actually all cut by hand. So
Now, in addition, do y'all do other things besides the REM pods?
we make a lot of different things, but we only sell the REM pod.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We
Gotcha.
have portal boxes. We were at one time making and selling music boxes. We had we've got some the REM pod bear and EMF dog, and we just start playing and finding stuff and end up throwing it in our own arsenal, and like, oh well, we'll use it somewhere.
I think we have a whole case with wheels on it that's just full of stuff we made.
Well, speaking of stuff with wheels, I'm bringing back the Fairbanks investigation up again, and Carol came prepared. You just walked in with your thing and boom, boom, everything was all packed. You had everything that you needed and all together. And, not me. I'm like, well, I'll go back to the truck for the 14th time and grab, I don't know, whatever. But, you had it all together and like that wasn't your first rodeo. So how long, I mean, like for 18 years, were you interested in the paranormal before then? Or did it just when y'all started your friendship or whatever, did it happen then or have you always been interested?
So when I was very young, I had experiences being gifted as a young child in the South. It's a bit different. We were, I know I was allowed to express the things that I saw, the spirits that spoke to me, my friends inside of the home, but outside of the home, you didn't talk about that. It just wasn't something that was to be talked about except around the dinner table. I was raised by my grandparents, so it was even more different because it been passed down through the generations. Each one of my aunts have gifts. Even I've passed it on to my son. My son also is gifted, and so it was for me my whole life. That's all I've known. When my father passed away, he came to me as a young child, and he talked to me in spirit form, and during my dream state, things like that. So it wasn't uncommon for me. And then when Carol and I met, I had already, most of my teenage years been going out in small town Alabama with my friends and looking for haunted locations and things to do. That's all there was to do. And so when I met Carol, I had already had my experiences in the paranormal. And then she started talking to me about her experiences in the paranormal. So just kind of, our stories collided and we just kept going with it.
Now, I noticed that both of y'all are Reiki masters.
And
Yeah.
not many people know that actually.
No.
Oh,
Not many people know that. For myself, I have so many different branches on my journey tree. That's what I call it, my journey tree. So, whether it be energy healer, whether it be shamanic healer, I've done research into mythology and folklore, and I've traveled the world. I've seen things that a lot of people don't get to see. After growing up in the South, I knew that I didn't belong just in a building. I deserve to be able to go out and spread my wings and learn about the different cultures and the different spiritual walks of life. So, Carol's like, I'll do it too. I just kind of like, you're going, let's go. So
It took me off guard because I'm like, hey, a lot of people don't know that.
yeah, yeah. I've noticed a lot, as I'm getting more into, hunting with the different groups, that a lot of the paranormal groups are nonprofits now. And like your mission for Ghost Hunting Housewife is to help save historical properties. And so I know that you have fundraisers and you do different things to raise money for different locations. And to me, that is so important because I'm all about giving back. And it's something that y'all are doing because, it's easy to run into a location and, let's, spend our time and work everything up and, okay, the next day, let's go and that's it. But I think it's more than that to y'all because you really want to help the location because it does cost money to be able to be investigated. It takes electricity, it takes property taxes, it takes so much and repairs. A lot of the places, they're in disrepair and for y'all to make that your mission to help other places to maintain. I really think that's really cool of y'all.
And it's one thing as we've traveled together for years, even prior to the Ghost Hunting Housewives. We would have a list of places we would go and see. And I mean, we've been up to, Wisconsin and, all over. And we see all of these places that aren't able to keep the historical integrity of the properties. And I told Carol, I was like, we go to these locations and a lot of the places are, urban explorers cover them quite often. but they need help. They need to be able to continue on allowing others to learn about the history. And it's a lot harder to learn about the historical significance of a location if there's nothing there but grass or nothing left but rubble.
Right.
So being able to take that and help raise funds and make sure that these locations are on through the rest of this decade or century, however long we can help them.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff you don't learn in school anymore,
Yeah,
So we
you're
like
right.
to make everyone aware. We still have a future. I want my kids to see those things, or I should say now grandkids, but
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, some of the places they've been around for hundreds of years, and it's not, if they're not maintained properly, then they're certainly not going to be, continue to be there. Now, because some people have problems with, places, some places charge to ghost hunt. And then
Yeah.
I realize that some people, they're like, oh, why they're charging, and they don't need to charge. But I feel like that they do, because how else are you going to maintain? They're putting their lives and livelihood on the line to open the place for people to come in. I understand, it's a business, and everything ain't free. So,
That's
you
it,
know,
and people don't quite understand, a lot of these locations, it's not just opening the doors up and saying, here's a key, have fun. It's, we have to assure that the right legal forms are signed and make sure that there is, insurance at these locations, as well as us having insurance. There is making sure that we have a safe space that we're at too, because a lot of people don't realize one location in particular that's home to us. We're there quite often, and the sheriff's department is right outside of our door watching over us all night long.
that's really
You know,
good, because that's not always the case in
and
lots
it's
of
not.
locations. Yeah.
It's really, really not. So a lot goes into maintaining these properties, lawn care. There's a leak in the ceiling. Anything could happen at these locations. And it does take money, because when you're talking about keeping the historical integrity of a property, whether that be to be able to get funding, grants, keeping it on the national registry or the state registry, it takes a lot to be able to do that, because you can only change so much. You can't change things and modernize something and still be able to keep it on a historical registry.
September the 21st, I believe that it is, that will be the St. John's Theater ghost hunt that y'all are hosting, and that I'm going to we're going to be a part of. Quest is going to be a part of. So thank you for that. I'm really looking forward to it. I've never been there. Y'all still have tickets? I know that y'all were like less than double digits that's left.
I think we're at 6 tickets left.
Okay.
yeah, I think it's 6.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, we have some special guests going to be at that ghost hunt.
Yeah. Quest, Louisiana Spirits, a wonderful paranormal group that actually they're the host of Cajun Country 2025, and that's where I met y'all.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Earlier.
This is going to be such another great year. This past Cajun Country Paracon was absolutely phenomenal. We worked with Marcy from the moment she called us up, and we've worked with them now. I would say over a year and a half, something like that. We've worked together with Louisiana Spirits, and it's such a great dynamic. We all work together, and it just shows that that we can, people can work together and still enjoy it, still have fun. And that's one thing I can say. As much time as, I mean, all of us, the three of us, we've all spent time together with a Louisiana Spirits chapter, and it's never a dull moment. We
No,
take
that's-
it serious when it needs to be serious, and it's goofy and funny when it needs to be goofy and funny, so.
And that's what it's about, because if it's not some measure of fun, it's not you're sitting around and laughing and, cutting jokes 24/7 when you're trying to investigate, of course, but you do have to have those times of kind of lightheartedness, and because it's all about team building too,
Oh, yeah.
and to have a good relationship with other ghost hunters, and people may not realize how important that is, because if you're in the network, you want that. And then I like it because we really don't, there's no egos, and like the little circle of friends that we have, and we all want to help each other and Sean Daniels and just so many, yep, people we're blessed to have.
We got a big old Louisiana family, as
Yeah,
my son calls it, Louisiana.
I know.
Louisiana.
Louisiana, that's what my baby calls it.
Louisiana.
Sean is trying to be there on September the 21st as well.
Yeah.
So that'll be great. All of us will be around. We have a lot of amazing things in the new year taking place between Ghost Hunting Housewives and Suncoast Paranormal and Films, which is Sean Daniel. We are going to be filming most of next year. So that's about all we can really say right now, but it's going to be a very busy year in 2025 for us.
I like that. I really do. Now y'all also host a podcast, and it's called the Paranormal Coffee Talk.
We were asked to create this podcast in January. Michael Newcop, great. We love Mike, absolutely phenomenal. And he said, you guys should make a podcast and call it Paranormal Coffee Talk, because it's like, you put this comedy twist on everything that you do, and you really should create this Paranormal Coffee Talk. So we, a week later, started working towards that, and the end of January had our very first episode of season 1, episode 1, Paranormal Coffee Talk.
Very
We have
cool.
paranormal in there, but it's fun. It's
A lot of fun.
we go off squirrel
Yeah,
every
squirrel.
once in a while.
Now,
You never know what we're going to be talking about.
well,
Well,
Well, it's a fun space.
right, and that's what it's about. I can't remember exactly, maybe August or October. I don't know. I have it on the calendar where I'm going to be a guest of your podcast, so I'm really looking forward to that. I might have a little something in my coffee though, if that's okay.
hey, whatever you need to make it through, we got you.
You do you, girl.
You know I will. Where is a place? We all have our bucket lists, and I talk about them a lot. And in 2025, I have made a resolution where I'm not just going to talk about my bucket list, but I'm going to start, scratching things off. Where's some place that y'all would like really want to investigate, but you haven't?
That's a Carol one. I've been to a lot of places. Being a military spouse, I've got to travel and see things and do things. Carol has been to a few places. So I think it would be more of just finding locations we haven't gone to, and like Alaska. I haven't been to Alaska.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Investigate. Like I've been to Alaska, but not to investigate.
We like going on that off beaten path, places
Yeah,
people
just find
haven't ever been.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because it's so, like some places, and I do want to go to places that have, been investigated a lot, just
Yeah.
to try it out. But you're right. I mean, so many people go to the same places, and we see the same, things that are going on and the same stories. And so I really think that it's, really cool that you want to go off that beaten path and find some new stuff and get them out there, and new stories and new, history. And
I want to just go back to Scotland. Like my longing is to be able to catch an apparition of like a Viking or a Highlander from, the 17th century or something. That's just my dream, to be able to see one of my ancestors, or an apparition of someone that was maybe from the same clan. So going back to Scotland is my dream.
that's pretty cool. How about you, Carol?
As big as hers. I just want to go to Sweet Springs.
Oh yeah, Sweet Springs.
Yeah, there's something there for a while. That
Yeah.
place was calling me like every day. I don't know. I'd pick up something, there it is.
Sweet
Get on
Springs.
Facebook, there it is. Turn on
Wow.
TV, there it is. I'm like,
Well, it's calling out to you. As I always say, there's no such things as coincidences.
right?
So there's a reason for you in Sweet Springs.
Yeah, there's
Your
something.
ancestors were there. Just gonna throw it out there.
It's like probably got relatives that stayed there.
They probably got a room waiting on me.
Yeah.
They're like,
They
come,
probably
come,
place my name
investigate
on it.
here. Right. And I'll walk in, get her, get her. You know, Louisiana has a lot of places to investigate. And I know that y'all have probably investigated a lot of different places here. And, you know, because we know that New Orleans is very haunted. Savannah,
Mhm.
Salem, Sleepy Hollow, so many places. What would be your favorite one? Where would you like to go? What do you think is the most haunted city?
Our favorite of them, because we've been to most of those,
Mm-hmm.
would be Savannah.
Oh yeah.
We
Yeah.
love Savannah. There once when we were there back in 2021, we were sitting here thinking that this lady that we met in a cemetery was just out of her mind. Like she could not be serious what she was telling us. And she told us that many people, when they go to Savannah and they are there for the first time, they get they get bit by a Savannah bug, and you always long to go back to Savannah, and most people end up moving to Savannah. And I think since we were there in 2021, we got to investigate with Truth and Evidence at the Savannah Theater. We stayed at the Marshall House. We got to investigate the cemeteries, the forts. Oh my goodness, it was such an amazing week, and we were so tired. But ever since then, June of 2021, we're longing to get back to Savannah.
I've never been there, but I'm looking forward to going there. Now,
It was also beautiful too.
oh
It
yeah,
is.
I mean from the pictures and on TV and stuff,
Yeah.
it's just it is beautiful. We're doing the St. John Theater. We've done the theater in Opelousas, St. Landry Parish, the Delta Grand, and I'm noticing, and y'all mentioned in Savannah, y'all did a theater. So
Yes.
what do you think about what is it about theaters or theater that what do you think makes them haunted? Is it the age? Is it because of the energy from all the performances or
Like a theater in itself, it has a story. And every theater that we've gone to has a different story, but that's so much like a theater. You're never going to be able to see the same performance at every theater. It's going to always be different, a different dynamic, a different setup, a different musical. Something is going to be different. You can go and you can see a Broadway play at one theater and it's going to be different at another. But I've also seen a lot of tragedy, and a lot of people enjoyed spending time at theaters. That was where everybody went to socialize, to congregate. Children had performances along with the adults, and they all spent a lot of time there. Back in the 1800s and early 1900s, children even were ushers and stuff in the theaters. So having a lot of children spirits inside of these theaters is not uncommon. We've investigated a theater that has had it's seen so many fires and so many
yeah.
tragedies. I think again, every theater has its own story. And the spirits there are gonna be able to be some are very dramatic and some are very theatrical, and some it just breaks your heart. It really does. It just tugs at your heartstrings, and I think that just sums up theaters when it comes to paranormal research. In our eyes and in our experience, they just all have a different story.
When you're investigating and we use the tools, like we said, the REM pods and the K2 meters and the music boxes and the spirit, I mean, just so much that there is now. Is there something that you like as far as like maybe a Ouija board or so? Is there something like you do not prefer to use? Are you just like, let's do it all?
We won't
We
use the
don't
Ouija board.
we don't use
Okay.
Ouija
All
boards.
right. I've
You know,
never
we
done one myself.
we've just never done it. The energy that I feel off of and that I've always felt off of them just is something I've never my guides have always steered me in the opposite direction. We do use like Zinner cards. We'll take Zinner cards and put a spirit ball or something on them and ask them to light up specific ones. Yes or no buttons. We've used those dowsing rods.
Hmm.
I've done some tarot readings at different investigations. It's more so, we've even dabbled some in drawings. I think that Ouija boards just is something that I know mine and Carol as well. We steer clear from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. I haven't really fooled with one. Next week, I'm actually, though, going to go to my first seance.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I haven't done that before, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm excited, and then I'm kind of like,
you'll be
ooh,
fine. Just
oh yeah,
prepare.
Yeah, you'll be
I'll
fine.
just go, well, when they
Yeah, there
start
you go.
saying something, and
Well,
then they'll leave
Just
me alone.
start tapping into Crystal's energy.
Right, right. Oh, yeah, I am looking forward to it.
yeah.
I just think it's really gonna pull back some layers, and I think it's really gonna be a memorable experience. So
And it
let's,
is. It's more of everybody taking the journey that they're led to take. Everyone's journey is going to be different. And, we've not been we've been invited to seances and stuff, and it didn't work out for us to be there. We've had other people that have done Ouija boards and things, and again, we just weren't there. So it just wasn't meant for us to be there.
yeah, and I mean, not, disparaging anyone that uses those tools or does
Oh,
that.
no.
It's just not for everybody. So
Exactly.
whatever your reasoning is that's your reasoning. So
Well, see, and we're a little freaky about dolls too. We
Oh,
don't
no.
we
Nope.
don't do dolls.
well, you got that.
Except for Ginger.
I was gonna say you got that ginger one right
Ginger's
there.
cool.
I got Elf, my little ginger elf. That's about as much of a doll I'm gonna do, and he's just so cute because he's a zombie, and he was painted for me.
He is cute. What's his name? Ginger.
Ginger.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
like
I
him.
have a GPS in my car set to, the Irish accent, and so I'm always yelling at my GPS saying, "Hush, Ginger, you don't know what you're talking about." So now I can actually be talking to my people would think I was talking to my zombie elf. Hush,
Yeah.
Ginger, you don't know what you're talking about.
I don't do dolls either.
They're freaky. They just freak me out.
They're like just asking for trouble. I do want to go to the island of the dolls, but I probably, as soon as I step there, I'd probably pass out,
I
in the
know.
fetal position.
As much as I don't like dolls, I mean, that would kind of be a cool place, but I'd probably never get out. I'd be like, oh yeah, let's go. And then get there and be like, I'm not leaving the car or the boat or
The
whatever. I'm
boat.
just not leaving.
You'll be holding on to the side.
Yeah, I'm not getting out.
I have a funny story. Y'all met Catherine. Y'all know Catherine, my wife,
Yeah.
Yep.
about the Myrtles plantation. This is about dolls, and y'all know how Catherine is. She's
We love you, Catherine.
nothing
Well-
bad, nothing bad. But so they take you on the tour at the Myrtles, and I think it's Fannie Williams' room, and it has all the dolls in it, and they're like, do not touch the dolls, do not have anything to, do not. So you know what that meant.
She touched it, didn't she? She
Right.
Touched every one
So
of them.
right,
didn't she?
so I went out to the car to do something, and then it was like after hours where everybody who's staying over, just kind of chill and hang out and stuff. And so I went to the car for something. So I walk up, and Catherine's holding a doll, talking to somebody, like right after that, and I'm like, what the hell? And she's just walking around. There's like the dolls are very haunted and blah, 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 blah. So hold on to your dolls if she's around, because she's gonna do. But yeah, like dolls and clowns. Like I personally do not think that I could stay the night at the clown motel.
Now I could do the clown. I could do that one. I don't have a problem with clowns. With
No.
dolls, and even going to the island of dolls over in Mexico. I couldn't do that. I mean, my ancestors are all from Mexico. I mean, my family still lives in the valley down in Texas. I just that place doesn't call me. And again, spirit guides are probably just telling me you need to listen. This is not a place for you. And I've just never had a desire to go. Even
clowns are
Jason
freaky.
Haas was there, and I never had a desire.
Now, if I had the chance to probably stay at the clown motel, I probably would try at least.
Yeah, I would
give
try.
it a try.
Clowns freak me out
Let's
too.
plan it. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do
Let's-
it. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Look,
Everyone knows they cannot guarantee that Crystal's going to be awake to save them. I will probably be asleep while everybody else is like all flipping out because of the clowns. But I think it'll be fine. Let's do it. Let's go.
Let's go.
Or
I'm
if you
ready.
call-
We could do the clown motel, and then they have that cemetery just right by it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably
We actually had a guy buy some equipment from us for an investigation there.
oh, that's
the clown.
cool.
You remember that, Crystal? Yeah, he was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I mean, we've got equipment all over the world. We've got equipment in Canada, the UK. I mean, even we had we had a piece of equipment that went all the way to Hawaii and
What?
and all of these different locations. It's pretty cool to see where our equipment has made its mark at.
It
So
wasn't supposed to go to all those places,
No,
but
but it
for
ended
some
up-
reason it
that
did.
poor lady said, my box got more flyer miles than I've got. It was supposed to go to California, but it ended up everywhere.
Yeah, it went everywhere.
Wow,
I was
isn't that
like,
great? You know, is there like a website or somewhere like if people want to check out your, you know, your equipment or find out more about your podcast or find out about events, where would they need to go to?
Ghosthuntinghousewives.square.site that has a link to all of our shops. It has a link to our blogs and a link to all of our social medias.
Well, y'all heard it
Pretty
here.
much all our bios on social media. I'll have the link tree
Okay,
link in there, and it'll take you to everything.
you just boom and find out
Yeah.
everything about Carol and Crystal. How about that?
Yeah,
Oh, Thelma and
all the good
Louise.
stuff, none of the bad stuff.
Right.
Well,
That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother show.
That's on our fans only.
Yeah.
we may need to go ahead and hire somebody and go ahead and make this Thelma and Louise happen. Like, let's
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
it out, 'cause
do
we
it,
got some
do it.
stories we can reenact.
Oh
them.
yeah.
Thank you both so much for being on the show. Y'all are just great, wonderful ladies doing a lot for the paranormal field, and I do appreciate that. So everybody, thank you for tuning in, and Brandon, thank you as always, and I will see you next week. Until next time, have a good night.